Nigeria from its inception has remained a controversial entity. From the story surrounding her amalgamation by Lord Lugard, and subsequent naming by his girlfriend Flora Louise Shaw, to the current unitary-style federal system of governance which has been protested in some part of the country, believed, favors only a section. Tonight, we will try to decipher the etymology of Nigeria's ill-fated federalism and the struggles by the various regions to right these anomalies. Once again, welcome to African PM. Without further ado, let's get started. Nigeria, a previously unitary state under British monarch, became a federation in 1954 with the merger of three geopolitical regions, reflecting the three largest ethnic groups: the Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa Fulani. These ethnic groups dominated the then northern, western, and eastern regions respectively. Nigeria, made up of more than 200 ethnic groups with different cultures, languages, beliefs, and ideologies, is in dire need of a political system that will cater for its diversity, hence, the adoption of a federal system of government. In order to understand why Nigeria's founding fathers chose this system of government, we must first look at the definition of federalism, which is a state in which both the central government and the constituent governments rule over the same territory and people, and each has the authority to make some decisions independently of the other. Riker, 1964. Thus, Nigeria modeled United States of America's federal system of government, with northern, western, and eastern region as federating units respectively. This arrangement was jettisoned by General Ironsi's led administration for a unitary form of government, after the failed 1966 coup led by Major Chukwuma Kaduna. Power was concentrated at the center for military ease of administration at the detriment of regional independence, thus hampering their decision-making and policy formulation. Over the years, Nigeria tried reverting to status quo. However, constant military interventions and the benefit a particular section of the country derives from the unitary form of government makes it impossible, thus marking the end of true federalism. Can Nigeria ever return to federalism after military coups? Like every other thing Nigeria does in reverse mode, federalism returned in unitary clothing after the military handed over government to the fourth civilian government in 1999. Going down memory lane to understand why Nigeria is not practicing true federalism is crucial in understanding why Nigeria's federating units go cap in hand to the central unit every month for budgetary allocations, and why over the years, they produced political billionaires who cannot explain their source of wealth. The annulment of the 1993 presidential election, believed to have been won by MKO Abiola, can be said to be the catalyst for the renewed agitation for true federalism in Nigeria. With the June 12 annulment, Nigerian people saw the danger of overconcentration of power at the center. This move further heightened suspicions and metamorphosed into different regions demanding drastic changes in the economic and political policies, except the northern region. The north, unlike other geopolitical zones, wants the status quo maintained. This development did not come as a surprise to the southern regions because the federal character principle, being the majority at the federal level, and quota system, tends to favor the north. Hence, northern Nigeria controls the central government, as the majority at the National Assembly and gets appointed to sensitive offices with minimal qualification, thanks to the federal character principle. They also have an undue advantage over the south in the military, paramilitary, schools, and any other commission owned by the federal government irrespective of meeting the required benchmark or not. The South, on the other hand, was divided in their clamors, and without a common uniting force their success rate at changing any of these policies were at best abysmal, while religion played an integral part in the North, uniting them under the Fulani-dominated emirate. The Yoruba seems to be better off in the southern bloc politically. They can unite and pursue a common course for their region. A prime example is when the Yoruba-dominated Southwest argued that the 1993 annulment robbed them their chance at the central government and that North were not willing to concede political power to the South. Their continuous pressure led to all the regions accepting to allow only Southwest candidates contest in the build-up of Fourth Republic, hence, the emergence of Olusegun Obasanjo as the president in 1999. Again, the merger between Tinubu, Southwest, and Buhari, Northwest, that took power from PDP in 2015, demonstrated their ability to collaborate with any region to advance their course, thus, giving the Southwest vice presidential slot at the federal level. Southeast on the hand has been complaining of marginalization and lack of federal projects in their region, but fails to build formidable political alliance with any region in order to advance their course. These agitations led to the formation of the Movement for the Actualization of the Sovereign State of Biafra, MASSIB, and the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB. This group clamored for secession, citing the lack of federal presence since the end of the Civil War in 1970. Unfortunately, only political charged reasons such as denial to participate in governance or being ruled by other regions could trigger extreme measures to end political alliance such as Nigeria. South-South agitation is majorly economically driven. They are the hen that lays the gold egg, while the core North is the majority at the central government taking the lion's share. Their agitation is simple: give us access to our natural resources, as it is done in every federal system of government, so we can develop our region while contributing our quota for the running of the federal government. Like the Southeast, they resorted to militancy to derive home their point. However, the emergency of Goodluck Jonathan as the vice president in 2007 and subsequently, the president in 2011 quietened the tension. President Goodluck did not grant them resource control despite coming from the region. He infamously barred the possibility of separation, which would have been the alternative if resource control did not work, during the 2014 National Conference. The fact that Nigeria state gives oil-producing states 13% derivations from the sales of the crude oil to supplement their normal revenue allocations has made this agitation weak. The twist: irrespective of how various ethnic groups in Nigeria want to change the unitary clothed federalism structure currently practiced, they must first understand where the problem preventing true federalism stems. It is easy to complain, but every region has a representative at the National Assembly. Granted, certain regions dominate by a simple majority. If your representative is okay with the way things are done, and no concerted effort is made to elect who you believe will change the narrative, true federalism will always mean different things to different regions in Nigeria, though its definition is simple, straightforward, and clear. With all these said, where did Nigeria got it wrong? Nigeria started with true federalism until military in their infinite wisdom decided to intervene. Unfortunately, military rule and democratic tenets do not mix. Military interventions are not limited to Nigeria. Almost all the African countries in the 60s were grappling with coup d'etats. Military intervention is still a problem in African politics, the recent being the overthrow of democratically elected government in Burkina Faso, September 30, 2022, again truncating democracy and rule of law. Nigeria, like other African countries where their colonial masters lumped people of opposing cultures, finds it difficult to have a common national identity. Nigeria's Achilles heel is the unification of the North and Southern protectorates. Nothing but trouble has come out of it since British colonialists left 100+ years ago. The discrepancy in the modus operandi of these regions sparked agitations, subsequently leading to the secession of the Igbos-dominated Old Eastern region that was met with strict opposition from the North-dominated central government, thus igniting the 1967 Civil War. In 1970, the war ended with Biafra surrendering to the Nigerian state, ending the civil war, but not the underlying problem that sparked it. Nigeria's problem is man-made and can only be corrected with the right policy and national integration that can only be achieved through federalism. The idea to force people to believe they are one when their cultural and religious differences are glaring is wrong. The world must understand that dark skin only is not a criterion to map Africa as one entity. They should be allowed to sort out their differences. Nigeria must accept that North and South are not the same, contrary to what politicians want their people to believe. There are many maybes and ifs that could have changed the cause of history and corrected the 1914 amalgamation. Thus, if Zik of Africa had allowed the planned northern secession in 1953, the Biafra's war may have not been fought. If General Agi Ironsi had left the regional government independent, instead of concentrating power at the center, Nigeria might still have true federalism. If the One Nigeria slogan that has become a stumbling block to the discussion of true federalism was not re-echoed by General Gowan from the north-central region, the farmer-herders clash, that has seen Fulani herders having a field day killing farmers and sacking villages, might be avoided. And above all, just maybe President Goodluck Jonathan from South did not explicitly bar the discussion of national unity. In the 2014 National Conference, maybe Nigerians might be having round-table meetings negotiating their national unity. Hence, at any point in time, Nigerians wonders why their federal system works in reverse order. They might want to look inwards. Their region's actions or inactions might be the answer. To wrap this up, politics is a game of numbers and democracy favors the majority. Since the majority carries the vote, hence, the concept of comparative advantage in democratic settings became imperative. Taking these into consideration and applying it to Nigeria, it became obvious that every geopolitical zone has one form of comparative advantage or the other. The census currently in use scored the North higher than the South. The accuracy of this figure has been argued, but the reality on the ground is that the North boosts more state and local government than their southern counterpart, hence more allocation at the federal level, even though the resources flows from the South. It is important to note that every region, irrespective of the lopsided sharing formula, has their comparative advantages. For instance, southern Nigeria excels in business/academics while the North is good in politics. Unfortunately, this can pose a little problem, as will be seen in the following analysis. For education and businesses to thrive in the South, there must be enabling policies, and for the North to maintain its political dominance, they need businesses and education to lift their region out of poverty. These murky waters could have been easily navigated with mutual benefits, except for intolerance, especially that of religion, the big elephant in the room. As simple as religious intolerance may sound, it is a serious business in Nigerian politics. Out here, competence is often sacrificed along ethnic/religious lines. For example, it will be very difficult to elect a Christian politician at the helm of affairs in the Muslim-dominated Northwest, likewise, that of a Muslim in the Christian-dominated Southeast. These are some of the telltale signs that without true federalism, where each region controls their resources and develop at its own pace, it is only but a matter of time before another civil unrest erupts.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more of these contents.